Welcome to Fresh Talk News Channel. Today, we bring you a breaking news update straight from Kiev. On May 11th, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskiy announced his willingness to meet Russian President Vladimir Putin in Turkey on Thursday. This came shortly after U.S. President Donald Trump publicly urged Zelenskyy to immediately accept Putin's proposal for direct talks. Zelenskyy's bold move to suggest a face-to-face meeting with Putin marks the climax of a tense 48-hour period. European leaders joined forces with Zelenskyy, demanding a 30-day ceasefire beginning Monday. But instead of agreeing, Putin countered with a proposal for direct negotiations, the first of their kind since the early months of the 2022 invasion. Yet, there remains a cloud of uncertainty. Will Putin attend in person? The two leaders haven't met face-to-face since December 2019, and their animosity towards each other is no secret. Despite the diplomatic gestures, deep mistrust runs beneath the surface, making any potential meeting a high-stakes event. Zelenskyy made his stance clear on X, the social media platform, where he declared, "I will be waiting for Putin in Turkey on Thursday. Personally, I hope that this time the Russians will not look for excuses." His chief of staff, Andriy Yermak, echoed this on Telegram, saying, "What about Putin? Is he afraid? We'll see." The situation escalated after Putin's late-night televised statement in Russia, which coincided with U.S. primetime, proposing direct talks in Istanbul on May 15. This proposal followed a strong demand from European powers in Kiev, calling for an immediate 30-day ceasefire and threatening Russia with massive new sanctions if it did not comply. The U.S. Special Envoy for Ukraine, Keith Kellogg, supported this tough stance, underlining the international pressure Moscow faces. However, Trump had a different view. Taking to Truth Social, he declared, "President Putin of Russia doesn't want a ceasefire agreement with Ukraine but wants to negotiate a possible end to the bloodbath. Ukraine should agree to this, immediately." Trump emphasized that even if an agreement wasn't reached, the meeting would clarify where both sides stand, allowing European leaders and the U.S. to plan their next steps. For Ukraine, the stakes are incredibly high. Kiev is eager to maintain the critical U.S. military support it received under President Joe Biden, support that has been a lifeline in the ongoing conflict. Meanwhile, Moscow sees an opportunity to escape crippling economic sanctions and engage directly with the world's largest economy, potentially altering the course of the war. Since launching a full-scale invasion in February 2022, Russia's war in Ukraine has claimed the lives of hundreds of thousands of soldiers and sparked the most severe East-West confrontation since the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis. Despite his forces making limited gains, Putin has shown little willingness to compromise. In his address, he proposed direct negotiations without any preconditions. However, senior Kremlin aide Yuri Ushakov later clarified that any talks must consider both the abandoned 2022 peace framework and the current situation on the ground. This diplomatic code language implies Ukraine must agree to permanent neutrality in exchange for a security guarantee, while also accepting Russian control over significant parts of its territory. Terms Kiev has consistently rejected. In a defiant response, Putin dismissed European and Ukrainian demands for a ceasefire as ultimatums. Russia's foreign ministry insisted that discussions must first address the root causes of the conflict before a ceasefire could be considered. Trump, keen to be seen as a peacemaker, responded to Putin's offer with optimism, calling it a potentially great day for Russia and Ukraine. But with no firm commitment from Russia, Zelenskyy stood firm, saying Ukraine's plan for a Monday ceasefire remained unchanged. He declared on X, "We await a full and lasting ceasefire, starting from tomorrow, to provide the necessary basis for diplomacy." In his nightly address, Zelenskyy reiterated that he was awaiting a response from Russia. He warned that if Russian forces ignored the ceasefire, Ukrainian troops would respond decisively. The tension in the region is palpable, with both sides preparing for the worst while hoping for a breakthrough. Amid this high-stakes diplomatic standoff, the U.S. Embassy in Kiev issued a stark warning on Friday, cautioning of a potentially significant Russian air attack in the coming days. As the world watches, the question remains, will diplomacy win, or will war continue to dominate the narrative? Thanks for watching Fresh Talk News Channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more news and updates.